enough and get those ranking points in. And a very similar story for Jodie. Once you get into the Grand Slam qualifying, you have 4 big opportunities a year to learn to play against the big players, to potentially qualify, reach the main draws, as say Harriet Dart has done, that we saw yesterday. We'll see her up again later, and that Emma took a win against, and you get to test yourself against the best. So that's the next stage for her to focus on.
Yeah, Harriet will play for the third place playoff in the final match on this court just a little later. In terms of their rankings, Jodie, UK number 7, world number 287. Emma, UK number 13, world number 338. And you say you learn a lot from playing against the best players. I know that Jodie in particular took huge comfort from beating Jo Conter in one of the Battle of the Brits encounters, and said afterwards, suddenly she realises the gulf between where she is now and those at the very top of the game is perhaps not as wide as she thought. So that's got to be an invaluable experience for her.
Oh, absolutely. And we've seen, I think, across the board for the guys, for the girls, being able to play against players that they just wouldn't normally get the chance to. The tournaments that Emma and Jodie play, somebody like a contest, she's not in those tournaments. She's playing at a higher event, and it's been the same for the men as well. So to get those huge opportunities to really see where you're at, see how you're progressing, and see that difference, and then realise I can do that. Just give me a few more months and I can do that. It's absolutely just invaluable, and I just love that the British players are looking so sharp, so ready, so desperate to get out into the international events, and they are going to have a massive advantage over other nations because of what they've been able to do here.
Well, I've mentioned that this is their 5th meeting in 6 weeks, 2 wins apiece in that time. Jodie was very quick to say that the overall head-to-head is 3-2 to her, so that meant a little something. What's going to happen today in this match, Naomi? Who's going to win it?
I honestly have no idea. For me, up until yesterday, Jodie had been playing the best tennis of the tournament and had been looking really good, and she did get a win. She just stole a win against Emma earlier in the week, but Emma's performance yesterday was tremendous. If Emma could play like she did yesterday in the semi-final, I think she could take the win. I think anything less than Jodie's experience might win out.
It should be very special. Let's find out what is going to unfold. Naomi's heading up to the commentary box. Already in position there are Marcus Willis and Barry Mills.
Thank you very much, Marcus. Yes, we are delighted to be here, coming to the conclusion now of this UK Pro Series that has been staged so brilliantly at the St George's Hill Lawn Tennis Club in Weybridge, just southwest of London. And you've set it up very nicely there with Naomi as the two players warm up, continue their final preparations for this, their 6th encounter, the series that began for them last year in a Bolton ITF event that they played out, which Burrage came from a set down to win 6-4 in the decider. Raducanu then a tour win, British Tour win earlier this year, 10-4 in a match tie break. She won again in straight sets in the first of their Battle of the Brits 2 encounters, and then it was Burrage who came through 10-7 in a match tiebreak in the second of those. And of course, the most recent indicator is the one that they played the other day in the Box B on the round robin stage of this final week. And eventually, Jodie Burrage just came through that 10-6 in the match tiebreak. She won the opening set, lost the second, and narrowly got through the final set. So in terms of closeness, in terms of the games they've been playing, a lot to look forward to. Marcus Willis alongside me. It should be a cracking final, a really good conclusion to what we've had all week.
Yeah, I think the deserved finalists here, they've been playing very, very good tennis.
They have indeed.
For more than just this week. I've commentated on a couple of Jodie's matches. She's playing very well, very steadily, and obviously I've seen the results from elsewhere. Can't really call this one.
It's very difficult to pick a winner, isn't it? I mean, Jodie is totally unbeaten. The only loss for Raducanu was against Jodie Burrage in that round robin encounter. But the 17-year-old Emma Raducanu to take on the 21-year-old Jodie Burrage. Sit back and enjoy this wherever you're viewing from. Great to have your company. It should be a rousing conclusion to the women's singles here this week in terms of the outright champion. And of course, a lot of prize money up for grabs. This match alone Well, the runner-up will receive $15,000 and the champion will walk away with $20,000. Of course, another of the playoff matches continuing on the other court. A lot of noise going on there, an extreme rally at the moment between Arbuthnot and Christie. We'll keep you posted on that, but now we focus on Raducanu in the women's final. Well, she isn't a player who gets distracted on the court, generally speaking. She's very even-tempered. So too Jodie Burrage. Lots of smiles beforehand. Hopefully will be played in a keenly competitive but good spirit. Of course, there's always a bit of an edge when the pressure mounts, and there was certainly a bit of that yesterday. Raducanu against Harriet Dart. But as Emma said afterwards, well, she kind of thrives on that. She recognises that when another player's getting perhaps a little bit chirpy and a bit hot under the collar, it's because they are feeling the pressure, and she's able to make the most of that. That's what she expects. And there is that searing shot that we've always seen from Burrage up the line. It's been her real rock, her strength, but as Naomi was saying with Marcus Buckland in the build-up, the way that her forehand has also developed. Great to see her now, and hopefully those injury problems behind her. Raducanu will have to be well aware of that. But she closes quickly on the short reply. It is so important for these players. It's not just developing the skills, developing the court craft, but also how to play mentally, how to deal with match after match, day after day. Because if, when the tour resumes in a big way for them and they get to a higher level, the hopes of battling higher level opponents and getting deep in tournaments will require that. Once more, it's a clean hit from Burrage to bring up the first break point of this women's final. And I'm delighted to say Naomi has now come up and joined us for this matchup. And already Jodie Burrage showing a thing or two with her intent here, Naomi.
Yeah, it's going to be a big hitting match. Really enjoys firing off winners off the backhand side.
But it was the return that was absolute quality, right back, pushing Raducanu off that baseline, and then Burrage full bore on the forehand winner to grab the first game, to break through right at the start of this women's final. Well, she's been so positive right from the start of the week, hasn't she, Burrage? And the way she has taken out all opponents, including Raducanu already. That must just make her feel, yep, I know what to do when it comes to the crunch, and she's made a very strong statement of intent here at the start. We saw how Raducanu a couple of matches ago was perhaps overhitting at times, but how she learnt to perhaps take a little bit off the ball when trying to open up the court, making the angles, and we'll see how she might try and apply that here this afternoon. Burrage to serve for the first time in competition today. Have to go and collect her own ball, of course, because due to the lockdown restrictions enabling this tournament to go ahead, but there has to be a limit on the social, person-to-person interaction on court. Limit that as much as possible. So no line judges, no ball kids. The players to call their own lines, the umpire to overrule if necessary. A length ball again and again there from Raducanu.
Yeah, with the Burrage game style at the moment. She just looks so clear on what she's trying to do on every single point. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work out and some errors are going to come. She does play an aggressive style. Been working a lot with David Felgate and Colin Beecher alongside today. David was here earlier in the week.
And Raducanu will know quickly there that, again, if she leaves it short, that's going to get hammered away. It was just put away with disdain by Burrage on the forehand. Set it up just too flat into the higher part of the net.
And the backhand side for Raducanu, her strength as well, what she'll be looking to use. I mean, she can fire things off of both wings, much like Burrage. Doesn't quite possess the same amount of pace as Burrage.
Wonderful tennis. That was a wonderful cross-court from Emma Raducanu. The backhand really forced pressure on Burrage and then taken well out of the air again, and she is good at that. Watching it clearly under the roof here. It's a pleasant day outside now, but of course we're grateful that this has been played indoors, albeit it was stifling in the first few days because of the intense heat. But because of the rain of the last couple of days, it's meant that we've had no problems getting through the matches. Of course, every player involved every day.
Really interesting to see what sort of level Raducanu can produce today. As I was saying a little earlier on, what we saw from her yesterday was of such a high level. For me, some of the best tennis I've seen from her. It just feels like the demand, the requirements to beat Jodie Burrage are pretty similar in terms of having to find that level and sustain it through the match.
Has a go, doesn't make it, and so it is a 2-love lead already for Jodie Burrage. Early stages, but just playing like the leading candidate here, and has certainly shown how to do that throughout the week. Burrage. Straight sets wins to start off with for Burrage against Maloney, Appleton and Gray. Then the battle with Raducanu at match tiebreak 10-6 that she took. Nadia Rawson she saw off in straight sets, and she was leading even silver yesterday. And Silva had to pull up, not feeling well, unfortunately. Hopefully she will be back this evening to play the final match, the concluding match on this main court in the 3rd and 4th place playoff against Harriet Dart. No quarter given by either. Eventually, the swing too strong from Burrage on the backhand. But yeah, played at a blistering place. You can see Raducanu sort of reacting after that exchange.
Yeah, quality stuff, and something that I think by Raducanu getting the opportunities to play the likes of Harriet Dart and Jodie Burrage, just recognising that, okay, if you play people who are lower down in the ranks, 500, 600, maybe the pace can overwhelm them. But actually, Burrage and even Dart yesterday feeling comfortable with it. It was the width brought in, as you were saying, Barry, earlier on. That's what was doing the damage. Great for Emma to get a look at these levels and what is required. She's had a couple of run-outs against players ranked highly. Jodie, it's been a combination of being able to play so far up, but also have to play with the pressure on. Highest ranked player here, not by much, but she will really be wanting to come through this.
Splendid strike, not coming back there, right up the line from Raducanu. So she gets on the board, albeit a little bit late in the day, having been broken at the start, but at the moment it's Jodie Burrage who leads 2-1 in the opening set. Getting into this women's final now. This concluding day to the UK Pro Series, the Classic Week. 24 of the leading players from the UK involved day after day. And we're already getting involved in a really hard-fought battle between two young talents. Jodie Burrage leading off here. Slightly higher ranked of the two. She's about just under 50 places above Raducanu in the world ranking. She is 4 years older. She's 21. Raducanu's still 17. Over from the other court, I think. Here comes Raducanu's first opportunity to get the break back quickly in this opening set. Calling it wide.
Can't agree with that.
No.
Looked pretty clean.
Burrage digging in, determined not to let Raducanu take it there. still quite a difficult place to get out of. 15-40. Wasn't the best serve, but that's a brilliant backhand.
Yeah, knew exactly what she was trying to do with it, lined it up brilliantly as well, just cutting off the angle and then leaning all the way through with the shot, with the shoulders. Just got her that extra bit of width, so you can take it a bit earlier.
Shown by Burrage there. She is broken back, going too long. But, well, the level already pretty intense, Marcus.
Yeah, good level of tennis. Really good game by Raducanu at 2-love. And then piled on the pressure there. Burrage would be frustrated with that. She got to 30-40, had a chance in that rally, but in the balance, fair score, I'd say.
Yeah, that call was a bit dubious, wasn't it, to say the least? I mean, they've got to make it in an instant, and
it really is difficult calling serves. I mean, I found that myself. I was sort of generous about it. Yeah, it looked good. It looked good. The umpire said she thought it was wide as well. I can't say I agree, but I don't think it'll be a defining point in the match. Hopefully not.
But as a player, if you're in Burrage's,
it's
shoes,
annoying.
It is annoying, and you felt at the end there when she lost the game, she hammered the ball away into the netting. I guess that's the way to release that tension.
I mean, I've seen some awful calls the last few weeks on the guy's side of the draw, more so than the girls. There's been more problems there. That doesn't even touch the sides for what I've seen these last few weeks. So it's fine. At the end of the day, you laugh it off, but at the time, it's not funny, and you just, I don't know.
It just can disrupt the focus, can't it? Because you're so tuned to try and play your best, and then you get irritated by that.
You get irritated. You don't know if it's deliberate as well. You don't know. That's the annoying thing. It's like people can make mistakes, that's fine, but when they're numerous times, you think it gets a bit more annoying. But it's an interesting new way of playing.
Raducanu moving on. Lost the opening couple of games, but she has won the next 3 in succession. So it is Raducanu leading on serve at the moment in this opening set by 3 games to 2. Jodie Burrage just checking she's okay. Did she just catch her shin on the signage there? I think she's all right. Hopefully. We don't want anything untoward, either player to get hurt here. Prevent this final reaching a fitting conclusion. That's a way to do it. Lovely combination.
Talked a lot about the backhand of Burrage, but the serve as well is such a big weapon. I think she's got great technique. She really does maximise well on that particular shot. It's quite tough to read as well. Love that first backhand from Burrage, down so low. But what she did really well is just not overplay it. It's so easy to try and go for pace, especially off your best shot. And you know you want the backhand line, but she saw that it was low. She looked at all the information on the ball and just picked the most appropriate sort of shot. It was the best possible shot she could play without taking too much risk.
Just see a slight red mark under her knee where I think she did catch that sign at the end of the court earlier on. But yeah, the movement there was fabulous, and Raducanu not exactly hanging around on the court either. She was really quick. But it really does have the makings of some quality points through this decider. Great to see some of the best of British bringing it to the court like this. So she may have been broken in her last game, but she's held comfortably with that one. And they are even again, 3 games apiece in the first set. Of course, 2 tie-break sets, and if they split those, then a match tie-break decider. Wouldn't be the first one we've seen this week, would it? We've had so many of them. The quality, the competition has been absolutely ferocious. And they both played their parts in plenty of those. Brilliant. Lovely work off both wings, and not missing again right into that backhand corner.
A really good striking from Burrage. Don't feel like Raducanu did anything wrong in that rally at all. It was just that extra weight of shot from Burrage, because she just has that more weight going through the ball. Raducanu's a little more balanced with her body weight. Has to try and explode through the shot. Burrage got a bit more of a lean, and it just gets you that extra zip.
Born in Toronto, her dad Romanian, her mother Chinese, but they came with her family to the UK many years ago, so she's grown up in Great Britain. long.
Just lifted, didn't she, with the shoulders? She had settled down on the ball and just popped up the head and lifted the ball out of the back of the court.
Burrage did defend well, didn't she, to the big strike previously. Raducanu struggling for length there. Burrage coming back deep. Error from the teenager. Break point for Jodie Burrage.
It was the right sort of shot for Raducanu to look for, going for the width, but just the way she executed it, just trying to pull off with the shoulders and pull the ball around, and you just lose a little bit of control that way, rather than allowing the hands to do it.
Change of direction again, so low down behind the ball.
Just a little pull with the shoulders on that backhand, and I think that is just coming from the pressure of facing Burrage. She knows how good the quality needs to be. I mean, the backhand as a shot for Raducanu is absolutely superb. It's just if you tip over into trying to force it, those to creep in.
Jumped on that, and again, easy to get wrong, but she took it so well. And the way we've watched her over the last few days, particularly here this week, just work things out during the matches, develop things, change things if need be, make the slight adjustments, and all the while that confidence that seems to be oozing through her game now. This time, Burrage making the call, the umpire agreeing with Burrage. Is that 1-1?
I'm not sure about that one. Like it could have been.
Oh, that's rally of the match so far. Burrage so disappointed in the end to have lobbed long, because she played some screaming shots in that, but so did Raducanu, just still there, still dealing with everything, and she has the advantage now.
Was the lob the right shot there on the half volley?
Not a huge amount of options available. I mean,
No.
I'd always say be making the opponent play the volley, especially can't give them the opportunity to miss. Try and just keep it as low as possible.
It's tough, that was a very good point.
Yeah.
Burrage needing her running shoes again there to try and stick with Raducanu, who finishes it off emphatically up the line. That transfer again is very good from the teenager. And once more, the score moves along with serve. Raducanu, after putting that one away, heads back to her chair eventually, having collected her own towel, and leads 4-3 in the first set. Living up to the billing, this women's final. A very fierce battle already, as both players aspire under the roof here, as they have already covered some ground, hitting the ball very hard at times. Kept her focus there. A stumble for Raducanu, trying to cover across to her left.
And that previous game from Raducanu was just absolutely brilliant. Just relentless quality, mixing in the width with the pace. She looks so strong and balanced out wide, dealing with what Burrage was throwing at her. Seems like she's carried on from where she left off yesterday.
Last few days have been remarkable efforts. She did lose to Burrage, of course, in that round-robin match, but only just 10-6 in a match tie-break in their previous encounter here this week. But then to get the better of Beth Gray from a set down as well. She clawed her way back in the first set, saved numerous set points, but didn't manage then to win the tie-break. However, it didn't seem to bother her. She just kept on pressing and improving and worked it out, and eventually came through 10-3 in the deciding match tiebreak. And then, of course, yesterday stepped up and bageled Harriet Dart, the leading contender here, in the first set, and took the second, which was much more competitive and closer than perhaps the scoreline would suggest, but she did take it 6-3. So she's come in with form to this, but so too has Burrage, and Burrage here with points to make it 4-all now in their opening set. Stare, wondering if the umpire might change sides and veer her way with an overall, but to my mind that was a fair call, and it is indeed 4 games all in this matchup. The one on court 2 between Beth Gray and Sonny Kartal has Gray currently up 3-2 on serve in their first set. That is a playoff for 7th and 8th places, and still good prize money all round today available. 7th takes away $5,500, 8th $5,000. nowadays, these two mirror each other, don't they, with their game styles. It's about who's going to execute that bit better. Fewer errors and deal with the biggest points.
Yeah, in terms of their overall game styles, they're both looking to get the first strike in, both with the backhands and very effective serves. Just the way they go about doing that is quite different. I mentioned Raducanu is just a little more balanced, which means it's tougher to get her off balance in a lot of areas, pushing her backwards on the V. She deals with that so well. She sinks down nice and low and out of the corners. Burrage tends to lean a little more with her shoulders when she goes through the shots, so it can cause just a little bit of a delay when, say, recovering, and losing balance she can be a little bit more susceptible. But on the for the positives, she gets that extra bit of pace leaning through with those shoulders as well. So there's pros and cons to both, but just a slightly different way of executing.
A hole to love for Raducanu, so she's thrown the gauntlet down here, challenging Burrage to see if Burrage can hold again to stay in the set. Both with good indoor records this season and indoors here this afternoon. Raducanu right now sitting on a 5-4 lead in set number 1. We've got a great battle going on here, and it's coming towards the business end now of this first set. Jodie Burrage serving to stay in it, 4-5. Annoyed with the miss. Finds the tee, just.
We really have seen players struggle to get a read on Burrage's serve.
really good use of the width of the court. The change of direction initially, just wrong footing. Raducanu here. And then a defensive ball back, taken out of the air. Took it very cleanly again. Important not to let that ball drop too low. Makes it much harder if you do. Confusion here in terms of making the call. If it's close, they have to call it, the players themselves. Still 1 point for Burrage despite losing that one. On previous shots with that backhand. Now again, it's just so good to see how she prepares for this ball and strikes through it.
Yeah, really good example of seeing the lean with the shoulders, really doing a lot of the work. Really nice technique off that wing.
She's been sparkling this week here at St George's Hill. She'll take a day to rest up, recover, perhaps enjoy a round of golf. She's keen on her golf. Raducanu might be looking at highlights of the Grand Prix tonight. She's a, dare I say, a petrol head. She's certainly an F1 fan. She loves her motorsport. Right now the focus on that yellow ball and what they can do with it here. It is nip and tuck between these two. And you'd imagine that it's so close that we'll get at least one tie break somewhere before this is decided.
Really is nothing between them, is there?
It's just about who executes when they do it.
Yeah.
The big, it's just going to come down to moments this match. They're both producing at a fabulous level.
If there were ever going to be a draw in tennis, it would be now.
For a lot of aggression on that second serve.
Raducanu, certainly the youngest player in the event this week. I've never had the feeling that she's in any way felt overawed by the occasion, by an opponent. Far from it. Still points to take another game out of this first set. Well, it had her wondering. She had to race back, be absolutely certain, but that drops wide, and it is still with serve. Raducanu narrowly ahead, 6-5. Well, she called it out. You may wonder again, we saw the replay, but not sure that Burrage could see clearly from there. And the umpire on the other side. Anyway, they move on. As I say, Raducanu leading 6-5. Again, Burrage serving to stay in this first set. Serving with new balls now.
Frustration coming in for Burrage. It's something that has greatly improved. She's become a lot more patient with herself, trying to be her own biggest fan out on the court, but she does give herself a hard time, and I'm sure that's something that will continue to improve over the years. You can't just magic it overnight and totally change the way you feel on the court. Starting to flow here for Burrage right at the crucial moment, and this is what we were saying, it's just going to be coming down to a moment in each set, really.
That looked fine. All, good serving from Burrage. Raducanu seeing it differently, but not getting her way that time. Very good from Burrage. The serve and then the backhand.
Yeah, calmly done as well, because she actually didn't have a huge amount of time, but like she just about managed to take those extra couple of steps just before the strike, just to make sure. Well worth it. An extra bit of hard work, it really does end up being worth it in the end.
So we've got what we expected, which is a tie-break to work out who's going to win this first set.
That was a super hold from Burrage, down love 30, just locked in, knew she had the weapons. If she just executed those serves, she was going to get her chances to finish, and done brilliantly.
Back to bite Raducanu there. She reacted afterwards thinking it was out, but no call and no overall from the line from the umpire. Burrage, mini break. And a strong cross court, forcing Raducanu into difficulty there. 2-0 for Burrage.
Yeah, after she got that big lean with the shoulders through the forehand like we talk about, also extending with the racket, just kind of that maximum penetration you can get off a big strike for Burrage. Whoever comes out on the losing side of the set, it's going to sting, because both really have played at such a high level. Too deep for Raducanu to get through her swing in time.
Nice healthy lead here.
Super response from Burrage. Remember the last game down love 30. Raducanu 2 points away.
Into the doubles alley. Into further trouble for Raducanu, and Burrage now with 2 more points coming up on her serve may clinch it here. Little fortune. She needs a bit of help perhaps right now, coming back into play off the net cord. Changing ends after the 6 points.
Really has just been some big hitting stuff, hasn't it? Baseline tennis at its finest. We've seen a few moves forward as well. Nice drive volleys from both players. Looking good up in the front section of the court, but this is all about pace and weight from the back of the court.
Still thinking perhaps about that early point. better return, but how well Burrage dealt with him.
That was really impressive.
Such a powerful shot from Raducanu. That's her frustration channeled into it with everything she had, but although Burrage was rocked on her heels, she dealt with it. Set points. Clean hit to finish the set in some style. Excellent work all week from Burrage, and a very tough opening set to this final. She emerges the winner of it, taking it on the tiebreak, 7 points to 1. And hopefully shortly we'll get a chance to hear her thoughts at this stage of this title decider. Also, we'll wait to see how Raducanu responds next, but Naomi's going to have a quick word very shortly with Jodie.
Hey Jodie, it's Cavs.
Hey, you all right?
Well, how about that for a set, right? Big hitting stuff. What made the difference in that tiebreak? It was tight all the way through, and then you ran away with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, tiebreak was a weird one. I was just really on it, and obviously first point there was that little. I mean, yeah, I didn't call the ball out, and I think Emma kind of lost a bit of focus with that, but I was just, yeah, really getting on every single ball and getting the first hit in before her.
So after winning a tight set like that, does that now make you feel like in the second you can open up a little bit more, that you've got that in the bank, or is it just more of the same?
I think more of the same, to be honest. I don't really think I can try to hit the ball any harder than I am, or try to do more than I am. But yeah, I just want to keep the same focus, same footwork, and same good attitude throughout the second.
All right, thanks very much, Jodie. Looking good.
Cheers.
Marcus, a thought from you on what next for these two? What might Raducanu do differently, if anything? It was so close, wasn't it?
I think she played such a good first set. I don't even think she played a bad tiebreak. There was a lot of Burrage winners, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So what can she do? She's playing very aggressively, very steadily. I mean, I don't think she should come out and take any more risks than she is.
Well, if it's as good as the first set, we're in for a good second.
Yep.
We've seen Raducanu recover from tough starts plenty before. Not that it was a tough start, it was a very good start from both players. A very close fought first set, but from a set down, that's what she's got to do again, to try and come back through this second and then play a match tiebreak to decide. But a long way from doing that just yet. She's got Burrage at love 30 again on the serve.
Yeah, and I think for Raducanu, I mean, I agree with Marcus, there's not a huge amount to change. I think life might be a little easier if she was able to get up the court a bit more with her feet, because we're seeing these blistering strikes, but she's a good meter behind the baseline for the most part. I mean, she's not too far back. Maybe that would make life a little easier. But the trouble is the level of pace. Look, Jodie said it, I can't hit it any harder. No. It's incredibly difficult to do, but if there's a way that she could maybe get into that sort of position, then opens up a bit more width, a bit more angle, and actually her shots will just penetrate that extra bit.
There's a lot riding on this match, isn't there? And every point now just feels bigger and bigger at moments like that.
Now that's really got under Jodie's skin. Really frustrating at 15-30. You know, from her point of view, as she was saying, I was right there, I was able to play a shot. It wasn't like it was going to be a winner. I was in the rally. But umpire deciding that it was a wrong call.
Really well taken. Serve out wide. She can do that all day, it seems. She could certainly do with doing it right now, perhaps again, or finding another comprehensive way of taking a point, not allowing Raducanu really to get into it. But the teenager still with a break point.
So nicely done. Got to love
Wasn't
that
it?
back behind. And Raducanu trying to cover down the line, and I think that's right, because that's Jodie's best shot. So at least make her play the one that is maybe her second best shot. So it's not really much of a choice, to be honest. But still, really nicely done by Jodie. And you know, look, when it comes to the line calls, you've got to remember we're playing at such a pace here, and they've had one overall each. So can be too unhappy.
How spoiled we are when we're watching the main tour with, you know, Hawkeye and everything these days.
But they're not used to it. They don't have Hawkeye where they play, so they've just they'd have some lines judges.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit easier when you've only got one line to focus on, but. Even then, you're going to have lines judges who are looking through the net. You're not going to have a full Wimbledon-style level of lines judges on your court. So, you know, mistakes are a part of it, as it is with any sport. Releasing the shoulders too early then. Again, Raducanu. I love the intent, and I think she's so spot on with what she's trying to do. Just another occasion where those shoulders have just pulled across.
It's a smart play again, and considering how peeved she was earlier in this game, that some of the, you know, the classy plays that she's put on the court since then just show how good she is thinking, despite the frustrations of doing the right things. And that was a clever little use of the drop shot, drawing her in, and then the volley back. Okay, I think she tagged her, but it wasn't meant.
No, smart play.
After all that, it goes down as a hold, you know, just another hold of serve. But what really we saw in that game, Marcus, was plenty.
That's impressive to bounce back the way she did. 2 third ball winners, 2 first serves. That's a really, really big hole for her, because had she lost that game under the circumstances, she could have, you know, it'd been tough mentally for her to bounce straight back after that.
Yep. They're the numbers on that first set, and as you can see, pretty much even all the way down each column there, side to side. It came down ultimately to the tie break, which Burrage was able to race away with after they were neck and neck for so much of the set. Raducanu, just a hint of irritation there on her expression after not managing to break through. Of course, Burrage broke her at the start of the contest. Raducanu did come back to level for 2-all. It's been a holds all the way since then.
For me, I think there are so many encouraging things in the Burrage game that we've been watching through the week, as there are with the Raducanu game. If we're thinking, I mean, fast forward 12 months down the line, where they're going to be. But for Burrage to be down, love 30, 5-6, and then to lock into that service game like that, and then that last service game 15-40 with a bit of frustration as well with the situation. And then again to play almost perfectly to get herself out of that. It's something that's a little unusual for the bigger hitters, I think, in terms of the counter punchers tend to be so good on the crucial moments at just sorting themselves out and not allowing themselves to miss and let that ball get away with them. So it's really impressive from Burrage.
That one long. The previous one was good, but that just airing too far. Court from way back, cross court right into the left wing. Tough for Burrage from there.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of chat about line calls between the two of them. I mean, we're having conversations about it ourselves as well up here, but it just, the level has to be so good. They're having to play so close to the lines that these shots are kind of millimeters in or out so frequently. Super game from Raducanu. A couple of simpler points when she could get up into the blue with both of her feet. Again, I'm not saying it's an easy task for her to do that, because the strike from Burrage is pretty devastating. I think that would hold anyone back behind the baseline, but if there's a way for Raducanu to do it, she's got to take that opportunity.
Couldn't hang on to the last one, but the backhands from both during the rally. Incredible shots. It's just great to watch them mixing it like this.
Yeah, there's just no let up from either of them, is it? I mean, each one is earning the point, they're winning it. There's no, there are no gifts going on, and cheap points. There's no unforced errors that are peppering things. Whether it will continue, could be some way to go yet. Love that return. She's done so well to move forward. It was jumping up to the shoulder. It was not easy at all, but fabulous technique from Raducanu. And because she knew she felt strong behind it, she could then really go through the back of it and make sure it went away for a winner. seen many shots like that from Burrage.
When they played on Thursday in the round robin in Box B, Burrage won the first set. Then she won it 6-3, but she lost the second, 6-2. Raducanu clearly with similar intentions here to get a breakthrough in the second set and hit right back, and she's got chances again with break points. Expect this return to come back a zillion miles an hour if she gets onto it. Yeah, she tried to.
Great second serve there.
Getting more pressure for Burrage. It's the third service game in a row. She's been down by a couple of points and had to wrestle it back. She's done brilliantly to do that twice already, but she might get out of this one yet, but it's draining to keep putting herself under this pressure.
Good tee serve, wasn't it? Yeah, responding
once again. But Raducanu can take a lot of heart from that. She really is getting into these games, getting under Burrage's skin.
Just made it on the volley. Shaped up for that with enough angle to make sure it went over the net again. Could easily have popped it into the net. Once again, Jodie Burrage recovers really well from a perilous position on serve. Up a set, and she's now 2-1 ahead in the second set. Raducanu trying very hard indeed to level things up with Burrage, but Burrage very determined to just keep her advantage. Has hung on to some tough service games of late. Given a little extra time to just re-grip her rackets before coming back out for more. Approach, good depth in that corner. Asking a tough question of Raducanu.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it doesn't really feel like Burrage is redlining at all. It feels like, yeah, she's going to keep doing this for the rest of the match, and Raducanu needs to try and find a way to muscle her way. And she's been knocking on the door. She's been so close the last few games. She's got to keep going with that. You've got to think surely she'll get a breakthrough. But that's nice, because sometimes with the big hitters, you know, you can have a day where it all goes in. But we've been watching Jodie for a few weeks now, and we know that this is her new level, and it's well above where she's ranked at 280. She's playing like a top 200 player and pulling that out consistently and in all different sorts of situations, as I think Raducanu is. For sure, I think she's grown a little more through the weeks. And from what we saw from her yesterday and today, put her in the same category already.
Now the hope must be that sooner rather than later they get the chance to compete elsewhere and really take this form into those kind of contests to improve their level even further. The worry is that, as great as this format is, and it has been well received all round, players, organisers, people watching it, that it'll stall again because of lockdown. I think it's the same for everybody. Same for so many situations for people in sport. Jodie's boyfriend Ben plays for Leicester Tigers rugby. They were back in action yesterday, but they didn't come up with a win. They were beaten by Exeter. She'll be hoping for bragging rights tonight when she goes back home, but that has missed the mark. And again, Raducanu, an early lead on the Burrage service game.
Tell you that it took a while, but Marcus has got his popcorn out.
He's
enjoying it.
He's back in training tomorrow, though. He's making the most.
Popcorn's
of today.
not bad for you. Popcorn's a great snack.
And all other good supplies, yeah.
But I think this match is worthy of a bit of popcorn. Share it around, Marcus. Fourth service game in a row for Burrage down.
again facing break points.
Definitely the time for popcorn.
She's got what she's been after for a while and very nearly grabbed previously, but now with a breakthrough, it is Raducanu who does lead set number 2. And we'll see if she can build on that next, but back to the chair. A few seconds to consider what next, and certainly be pleased that she has managed to do some damage now to the Burrage serve. 3-2 in the second set. Only 17 years of age, Emma Raducanu is determined to put her name in lights. She's got herself this shot at the title, and she's got herself now a stronger position in this second set. Serve, I wondered if it was long, but Burrage played it, obviously hit a very good return. There was no call against the serve, and yet Raducanu, I think, thought that she would be hitting a second serve rather than having to hit a first one now at love 15. Adjoining court, Beth Gray, who had that battle a couple of days ago with Raducanu. She's up a set, 7-5 and 1 love against Sonny Kartal. Driven home. Just in an instant, flicking it the other side, changing the direction. Absolutely nails this.
Just been loving the attitude from Raducanu through this match, because Jodie's been playing fantastically well. This has been such a high quality match. She was just so close, and all she's been trying to do is say, okay, well, I need to play better. I'm going to play better. I'm going to keep putting that pressure on. As I say, it took 4 attempts really to finally get that breakthrough. Often when you play matches, your opponent, especially if your opponent's a bit more experienced, a bit older, like this sort of situation, they sort of set the level, and it's up to you as to how you respond and how you improve and step up. And the requirements for Raducanu on this court to compete or to end up beating Burrage are so demanding she's just taking it on. She's just saying, okay, well, I'm just going to do my best to get to the level that is required to win this match. And if she ends up falling a little short, like she did when they played earlier in the event, then she'll learn from that and improve like she always does.
Hitting, just total belief in what she's applying to the ball there.
And she's finding a way to get up the court. She got up the court quite a few shots earlier than this last one. Could dictate from there, and it just hurts Jodie that little extra bit.
She's obviously come through brilliantly this week to get to this final, Naomi, but for those people perhaps who don't watch a lot of the British juniors, or indeed at this level coming through, is she the absolute standout for her age in the British game?
Yeah, pretty comfortably, I think, to be honest. In terms of the teenagers coming through, pretty much the focus is on Raducanu, has been for a couple of years now. It was the right shot, one she liked the look of.
And on the men's side, just going back to that sort of in terms of teens, late teens, Jack Draper.
Yeah, Jack Draper, he's pretty outstanding even on a global scale. He's right up at the top for his age group. Anton Matusevic, a little bit behind him, same age, similar age.
Devastating shot off this ball.
But it's not all about age when it comes down to it. We've seen many players kind of break through very young and then struggle. Yeah, she's definitely made a deliberate choice to stick up more to the baseline now and just soak up that pace by getting down lower. I think that's a real benefit for her. But I mean, even for Burrage, okay, she's a few years older at 21, but she's had so much time out with ankle surgery. She's pretty underdone when it comes to competing. So you almost feel like she's sort of an 18, 19-year-old getting to where she is. She's had so many interruptions in her career already.
Good job there are no line judges.
I was going to say, Burrage is enjoying the new rules. No ball kids, no line judges to worry about. Just a curtain. Can't get in trouble for that.
Well, this might all but decide the second set for Raducanu here. She gets another break. Good play again from Raducanu, the teenager, just lapping it all up. I mean, they weren't easy balls necessarily to get to and hit as well back as she did, but boy, did they come back. And she is indeed up 5-2, almost there in terms of taking this second set. Burrage has got to find something a bit more now to douse the flames coming from the other side. Raducanu is right on this at the moment. Look at that. Smack in the corner. A fine return, too far with the second shot. Right on target. Another bullseye from Emma Raducanu. And she has 3 set points. What clean hitting of the ball. Raducanu saying, okay, I've got my A game now really on song, going into what will be a match tie-break to decide the outcome of this women's final. Excellent stuff from the teenager, and Burrage needs to find something a little more herself after Raducanu grabs the set. 6 games to 2. Let's very shortly hopefully have a word with her. Catch her breath, put the headset on, and Naomi can talk to her now.
Hey Rada, it's Cavs.
Hey.
Hey, how about that for a second set? I mean, it was a strong marker put down by Jodie in the first, but you responded well. What did you do differently?
I think that the level throughout the match has been quite high. Like, we're both having quite long rallies, and yeah, she came out on some important ones in the first set at some key moments, and I think there wasn't much in the first set. Second set, I just tried to stay in it and yeah, take it one at a time.
You've been putting the Jodie Burrage serve under a lot of pressure through this second set. You were up on quite a number of occasions before you did finally make the breakthrough. Have you found that you're now reading the serve a bit better or feeling more comfortable?
Well, when I went up in the beginning of the second set, she was just coming back with like 2 or 3 unreturnables, so I'd say I'm just trying my best, but you know, it's quite unpredictable.
All right, thanks, Emma. Good one.
Well, it comes down to this. Who is going to walk away with first prize? And check for $20,000. The runner-up will receive $15,000. It's about the title right now for these two. And having produced a final of such quality already, hopefully we are about to witness something spectacular in conclusion. It will be Burrage to start the match tie-break. Of course, she won the last one they played. She starts with a good serve.
It's one of the biggest serves she's hit in the match.
Oh. Very close to the corner of that box, but a great serve to begin. Consider the problems she'd had on serve in that second set, not making good starts to games on serve. Well, that was a cracking beginning to this match tiebreak by her. the angle Raducanu produces in the middle of that fierce rally, something special again. And although Burrage got to the ball, she couldn't control ultimately where it went. And Marcus, how impressed have you been by Raducanu's hitting, particularly in that second set coming into this tiebreak?
So accurate, taking it early. Didn't change too much after the first set, apart from, yeah, as Amy said, taking the ball a bit closer to the baseline, staying low. But she was piling pressure on Burrage's serve, like most games, and eventually, you know, even though she got herself out of trouble, Jodie, a few times, at some point you're going to crack.
That first set obviously was a standard tiebreak that Burrage went through very quickly, but now the longer version, I would imagine it will be very close to the finish line. Just having to hit a ball back to the other court. And now we are ready to resume. 1-1. Been a while since she's missed a shot like that.
Yeah, I don't think she really gave Burrage anything in that second set. Gifts on offer. Went big.
Yeah, perhaps just suddenly showing a bit of nervous tension, anxiety, trying to get back the deficit. Burrage, the one who won in the round robin in their match tie break, getting a good lead in this one now.
That's 3 unforced errors in a row from Raducanu, and I don't think we saw any shots like that really in the second at all, so a marked change.
Yeah, 10-6 on Thursday that she clinched it. 4-1 up now on this Sunday afternoon.
That's a 4th in a row. Sort of a basic rallying ball there. Okay, yeah, it was good depth, it was good quality from Burrage. It wasn't an easy shot for Raducanu, but something we should be expecting to find the court with.
What can we glean from those numbers? Obviously, Raducanu finally making the breakthroughs that she had been so close to doing, knocking on the door vigorously, loudly through the Burrage service games, and eventually did break twice to take command of it. But right now, that's it. Well, that is obviously history. It's all about this current position that she's in, which is not a good one. 1-5 down as they change ends for the first time in the match tiebreak.
get up to that ball. It dropped a little lower than she was anticipating, ended up reaching for it. Again, something you've not really seen from her. She's looked so sharp, body weight leaning forward, right up on the baseline. That wouldn't have caught her out before.
Pushed her back brilliantly there. I mean, Burrage coming forward, short ball, but doesn't put it away, has to retreat, and straight away, Marcus Raducanu sees that and exploits the situation.
Very, very good. Took it nice and early. Never looked like she's going to miss that. And kept herself in the tiebreak. 7-2 would have been very, very tough. 6-3 is doable.
Well played. Again, able to really open up things. Use the full width of the court. Burrage coming back as quickly as she can, but unable to do any more than that to that last ball. Can she close the gap even more? Oh, can she? That's a sumptuous combination. Just again, the way she really gets down to the ball and makes sure of the stroke. As you said, being able to take it on, coming back with pace, but because she's down right behind it, she can get that swing through.
Yeah, I mean, Burrage did, she hit the perfect return. I mean, to go across the body into that right hip and force that off shot, that's the most difficult shot for Raducanu to play there, and she's just done that with ease, really, just getting down so low. Good.
Well, I felt it was a big moment in the match, having come back as far as she has, and now she's leveled up. Raducanu, Burrage missing the forehand. And what next from these two? They've given everything to the cause today, as you'd expect in the final, and you'd hope to see that they could still live up to the billing of this title decider. And we haven't been disappointed, far from it. It's been a very, very powerful, fiercely contested match. And nobody's got an idea who's going to win it, have we?
No, and again, it's the quality. It's whoever's going to produce the quality. It's been such a fabulous match, this. Exactly what we were looking for in the final. And I think, to be honest, it's incredibly impressive, but it's not that surprising based on what we've seen from Burrage and Raducanu through the week. And that's as big a compliment as I can give them. Yeah. It's a phenomenal level, but this is what I was looking forward to today.
Well, how important is this point for Burrage, particularly after Raducanu has recovered from 1-5 down to even it up. 6 points all. That was tight. She didn't release the shot. And now you can see her sensing her feeling the pressure. Raducanu might just roll on from here to the title. No fans allowed in, of course, but it really does feel incredibly tense right now. We're all waiting, wondering what next. Another mistake from Burrage. Really a ball that earlier in the match you would have expected to come back strongly. pressure on the scoreboard now. And the situation in the match so close perhaps to its conclusion. Raducanu at 8-6. 2 more points required for her. Hit that wide. Oh.
Just that over rotation coming in with a little bit of tightness there. It was there to be struck.
Burrage again to serve, back on serve. It's still a point behind. Very good point. Doing it absolutely right down the middle with the serve and a strong second shot. Well, one of these two will get to championship point in a moment, but which one of them?
It's a fairly big point, this one.
Well, it's gone right down to the wire, but down into the net from Burrage, and that could be fatal for her hopes in this final. It is match point for the youngest player of the week. 17-year-old Emma Raducanu is up 9-8 now and poised for what would be an excellent conclusion to the series. Brilliant win for her if she can nail this now to avenge the loss in the round-robin stage to Burrage. Her moment comes right here. The teenager takes it. Raducanu is the champion. Burrage beaten in the end and bitterly disappointed. The racket's gone flying. She's so upset to have lost that ultimately. But she has to acknowledge that Raducanu pipped her to the post in the end and has taken the title here. And now you can sense a bit of emotion in there. We'll get her reaction in due course. But she's just off to pick up the towel, come back to her chair and really take stock of what she's achieved. Matt James there alongside, a few words from him. And, well, what a player at 17 to have done what she's done this week. Burrage beat her to top the group in the round robin, but come the final match, it has gone the other way, and Jodie Burrage runner-up. It is Emma Raducanu who has claimed the title so impressively. She's done it 6-7, 6-2, 10-8. Naomi, your thoughts?
Are just so impressive.